New at 5, a White Lake homeowner has been charged with manslaughter in a shooting back in July that raised some questions.
The prosecutor says Dayton Napton shot a 17-year-old who was trying to steal items from his garage.
Wilson's family says they want Napton charged with murder.
It doesn't make sense that it wasn't done out of malice, and for them to charge him with manslaughter when everything in the report is suggesting that it was malicious intent.
Whatever happened to accountability? Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And you like channel, like content, and what I do, you can support me with the link. Everything's appreciated. Online store is open. CGB20 will get you 20% off free shipping. Right in time for winter. And we got these nice pullover hoodies here. But CGB20 gets you 20% off. Take advantage. Let's talk about this. And this is an ongoing story that I actually missed back in July, because this started in July. But now there's been an update which has brought it to my attention. July of this year, a man was at his home and 7 teenagers broke into his detached garage. He retrieved the firearm and fired 2 shots through what they called a windowless door that was locked. The teens fled. He fired 5 more times, went back into the house, reloaded, and came back out. Now, during that whole exchange, 1 teen was killed and another was injured. They are now charging him with manslaughter, I guess based on the information that they have. I have a problem with this, but I'm going to go ahead and give you some information first.
Can you tell us a little bit about what happened last night?
Yeah, so I'm here to address the incident that took place on Mandan Road this morning. So shortly after 1 a.m. this morning, our officers were dispatched out to residents on Mandan Road. 7 individuals had broke into a detached garage at a residence. The homeowner was alerted through his surveillance system, at which point the homeowner came out and confronted the individuals who had entered his garage. The individuals were coming out, and shots were fired by the homeowner, and then they all fled the scene on foot. It was later in the early morning hours that Oakland County Central Dispatch contacted us and advised that they had 2 subjects near Huron Valley Hospital, 1 at the hospital, 1 near the hospital, that had sustained gunshot wounds. Both are 17 years old. 1 is being treated for injuries, and 1 has succumbed to his injuries.
Heard that and you saw that. You know, every single one of these situations where it comes down to this kind of after action thoughts and questions always comes back to the same ideal. How about you teach your children not to commit crimes? They will not become the victims of a homeowner, especially one who's defending their property. Now, this man has been charged with manslaughter and has gone before a judge.
24-year-old Dayton Napton charged with manslaughter, assault, and 2 other felonies from a case that stems all the way back to July, where police say this was the scene on Mandan where allegedly a bunch of teenagers broke into a detached garage right here. That's when apparently Napton saw the teens on a security camera, and police say fired a 9mm semi-automatic weapon through the garage twice. The teens started to flee. Then Napton is accused of firing 5 more shots, hitting 2 of the teenagers, 1 of them later dying. This case did happen back in July. These charges coming down today, and now Napton's attorney says that this is totally unprecedented, and he was defending his property.
Somewhat alarmed and dismayed with the arraignment, because I have been in contact with the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office
this for months. We've been checking on the status of these charges. My client, Mr. Napton, has been working diligently at his job. He appears with no prior criminal record whatsoever. This alleged crime occurred at his home while he was defending himself in the middle of the night. The true assailants in this case, that being the people that broke in to commit a larceny and committed a felony with intent, are not here. They were difficult to find during the investigation. They ran away. They dropped the deceased at a hospital without treating him, without doing anything. So we fully believe that Dayton is innocent of all charges.
I have a real problem with this. And allegedly, he has been robbed multiple times. The police chief actually deflected from that question when he was asked, have you been called to this address before?
And you, again, forgive me for reapproaching it, but neighbors have told us 3 times on that house in particular, in what is otherwise they describe a quiet subdivision. Is there anything you can offer in regard to why that home may be targeted directly?
I wouldn't be able to offer any further comment on it.
But here comes the usual rhetoric. Here comes the stupidity. Here comes the lack of accountability as you listen to the family of the victim.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and it hurts a lot.
4 months after 17-year-old Savon Wilson of Pontiac shot and killed in White Lake Township, his family says the charges have them confused.
I think the way they went about it, it could have been done better. It doesn't make sense that it wasn't done out of malice, and for them to charge him with manslaughter when everything in the report is suggesting that it was malicious intent.
Savon was running away and got shot. I never heard anything about him getting shot in the garage.
But prosecutors say Wilson hit and killed from a bullet fired through the locked door.
We had a really close connection. So it hurts a lot. I would have never expected this to happen to him. He has so many dreams and aspirations.
If you cared about him, you should have been in his ass right from the beginning and telling him that robbing people is not a good idea, because sooner or later you're going to meet that person who's not going to take it, who's not going to lie down and be a victim. Now, from a common sense perspective for myself, I would never convict this guy, period. But unfortunately, from a legal standpoint, he has some serious obstacles that he's going to have to cover.
Back out here live, the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office says the rights to own firearms and protect one's family and home are fundamental. Those important rights also come with profound responsibility. We believe the evidence demonstrates this defendant crossed the line by firing outside his home at fleeing persons.
One, he shot through a locked door that was windowless. He's going to have a hard time proving that he was basically, his threat to his life was happening right at that moment. He then fired additional shots as they were running away. Once again, that's going to be a hell of a hurdle for him to cover, claiming self-defense. Now, the family tried to claim that he was shot while running down the street, whereas the prosecutor said no, he was shot while he was actually inside the garage when he shot through the windowless entry door. We'll see how it plays out. I personally would not convict this guy, plain and simply because you have castle doctrine. Now, this is Michigan. It's Oakland County in Michigan. But a person's on your property that you did not invite there who is doing criminal stuff, you have every right, up to and including deadly force, to defend that property. And people always say, oh, well, you think that your property is more valuable than human life? Well, obviously the person committing the crime of coming on my property and stealing stuff decided that their life was worth less than my property. We keep letting these people get away with this. And apparently there's 5 of them that they're still looking for. One was wounded. He's going to make it. One was unfortunately killed. But there are 5 more of them that are running around that they need to track down. Which means they're not going to change their behavior. And sooner or later, they're going to run into somebody who's not going to be a victim. We'll see how it plays out. Like I said, this guy's got some serious legal issues that he's going to have to handle as far as calling this self-defense, but I personally wouldn't prosecute him, or even if I was on a jury, I wouldn't convict him. And these people, and when I talk about these people, I'm talking about the victims' families. You need to start reining in your kids and what they're doing. You need to start being proactive. And in the end, if that was my child, I'd be like, he was a dumbass. And I thought I raised him better than that. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence and statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.